Welcome to Wall Residence's video training series on the introduction into the electronic healthcare record. In this last of 3 videos in the series, we will cover the basics of navigating LARIS. This will include a review of the main page content, basic navigation of secondary pages, how to navigate between pages, characteristics of every form in the system, the purpose and function of the most commonly used buttons, and finally a recap of do's and don'ts for making the system work with minimum frustration. After logging in, one of 2 pages will appear. If you have a message from the system, you will see the message page similar to this one. Simply check the box and choose Continue to take you to the main page. If you do not have a message, you will be taken directly to the main page. On the main page, you will see a large blue area labeled User Alerts Messages. This area is not operational and can be ignored. Just below the blue area, you will see a number of icons that take you to different areas of the system. Providers and backup workers have access to Consumers, Saved Sessions, Reports, User Information, Downloads, and Sign Out. We'll start with Consumers. Consumers is where you will find a listing of all of the individuals to which you are assigned. Remember, to see your own file, change the setting at the top right to Staff. You will notice that to get back to the main page, I am choosing Back within the LARIS system. Saved Sessions is where you will find forms that you have started and then saved to complete at a later time. Accessing the form is as simple as choosing the magnifying glass to open the form. Reports is where a user can create a report based on any set of information chosen from any form. An example might be to create a report based on the number of yeses that were documented for a specific skill building activity. User information was already covered in the previous video. This is where you change your password. Downloads is where you can find a few downloadable documents and programs. Of the list, none are required. However, in order to view or print completed documents, users do need to have Acrobat Reader. If you would like to have access to forms offline, the Offline Forms beta will need to be downloaded to your computer or device. And finally, the Sign Out icon is used to log off of the system when the user has completed his or her work. Just a reminder that a computer or device that is connected to the system cannot be unattended while logged in. The user is expected to sign out when no longer using the system in order to prevent unauthorized access to the individual's record. As mentioned earlier, to navigate between the main page and the contents behind each icon, the back option within LARIS is used. This is important. When navigating between pages in the system, the user should always use the back option in LARIS and not the back button of the browser. Using the browser's back button may cause the user to lose any work completed. Using LARIS's back option allows the system to properly refresh and keep data current. Let's next take a look at the common features of all records. Providers and backup workers will spend a majority of the time in the Consumers section. Let's begin by opening the test individual's record by clicking on the magnifying glass next to the individual's name. The page that opens is called the General Information page. This is where nearly all of a user's navigation will occur. you will see on the left side a sort of face sheet. The globe icon simply pulls up Google Maps for directions to the provider's home or the CSB. On the right side, you will see Medline Plus. This is a tool to look up and print side effect sheets for medications, or it can be used as a resource for many health-related issues. Just underneath the Medline Plus icon is the listing of recent documents entered into the record. If you are a provider, you have the ability to view most of the documents entered into the record. If you are a backup worker, the ability to view documents in the record is limited. In the Other Documents section, the provider has access to Import Documents, a link used to upload scanned documents such as the MAR or medical appointment forms, and View Documents. If you are a backup worker, both options have been disabled. A training on how to upload a document in the record will be provided in a separate training video. For now, just be aware that the access to complete this function is behind the Import Documents logo. View Documents is a portal for accessing documents based on the section of the record in which they are housed. On the left side, you will see a listing of sections, much like the tabs of the Wall Residence's notebooks. As an example, choosing Incident Reports will open the record to the Incident Report section. By hovering over the document, you can see the date it was entered as a way to choose which completed report you would like to view. Going back to the General Information page, you will notice on the right side a number of assignments. Each individual is assigned to a caseload group identified by the primary provider. If there are errors in these assignments, please notify the Operations Coordinator or other designee. Scrolling back to the top, clicking on Add Session will open the Forms Access page. Again, a separate training will be provided for each available form. For this training, however, we will focus only on the characteristics that are indicative of every form in the system. Choose the form you need to complete from the drop-down menu. Then choose Continue to open the actual form. Every form has fields that cannot be changed. These fields are often shaded in gray. Required fields are shaded in tan or yellow. Every form has a required date field at the top just under the individual's name. The date entered is the date the service or incident occurred. This is not always the date the note is written. As an example, if on June 24th you are entering a note for services that were delivered on the 23rd, the date that goes in the box is the date of service, June 23rd. The system will not allow the form to be processed, saved, previewed, or allow use of spell check until the date is entered. White fields are areas that users type in information. Options that have an arrow to the side of it have a list of options to choose from, such as yes or no, a listing of shared outcomes, or skill building activities and their associated key code. Large boxes allow for plenty of space to type in a note or comment. The spell check feature is useful to correct any misspelled words. At the bottom of every form is the staff name, signature, credentials, and date. The staff name cannot be changed. Note that the person who is logged in is by default the staff name. The signature tied to the person logged in is attached to this document as well. If you want to preview the signature, click on this icon. The last 3 boxes are to be completed before submitting the document. After applying the signature, the provider or backup worker should enter his or her title and credentials. And the date in the section is the date the form was completed, which can be different than the date service was delivered. Let's take a quick look at this process again. Fields that cannot be changed are shaded in gray, and required fields are shaded in tan or yellow. The first date field is required, and the date entered is the date service was delivered or the incident occurred. White fields are areas that users type in information. Larger white fields hold plenty of space for notes. Areas with an arrow contain a drop-down menu of options from which to choose. At the bottom of every form, the staff signature, credentials, and date the note was written or entered must be completed prior to submitting. We will take a break here and review the second half of this video training on the next page.